Hello everyone, welcome to episode 22 of the Yarnflakes Podcast. This is a podcast about knitting, weaving, dyeing, lots of dyeing this week. Basically any kind of yarny crafts that I do. Yeah, my name is Audrey and I am sick. So I do apologize if my voice sounds a bit off and if I'm more rambly and a little bit away than I usually am. That's why. I feel rather okay now, so I thought rather than waiting and feeling worse, I would film now because I didn't want to skip a week because I have something quite exciting that is going to be the main part of the podcast and I didn't want it to be drowned in other kind of content. Timestamps are in the description below if you wish to skip to a special part of the podcast, as well as all the links to what I'm talking about. Yep, I think we can start. I'm gonna start with the knitting content as usual. I haven't done a ton of progress compared to if you watched last week's episode. I had like 5 finished objects because I hadn't podcasted in a while, so we're back to a more reasonable amount of work, but still I have a few things to share. Quickly, I'm still working on these socks that I started not so long ago. There are gonna be socks for my boyfriend and I'm still on the first one. Yeah, I haven't done much of it because I had some other plain vanilla knitting to do, so it kind of kept me away from this. This yarn is Woll but Arosa, which is it's a German brand, and Arosa seems to be their like self-patterning, self-striping yarn. And yeah, I'm gonna do Afterthoughts Heal, so that's why it's so long. I don't know where yet, because if you can see, it's like those really big stripes. So yeah, I don't know how long I'm going to make them. I want them to be quite long and slightly bigger winter socks, so he can wear them at home if he so desires. And I really like the colors. The colors are really autumnal. And yeah, I'm now in a stripe of brown and this reddish color. And I wonder, I think this is gonna be the full repeat because I think that next I'm gonna have that taupish grayish brown. So yeah, I believe that is the full color repeat. I might do like this more, I don't know, I'll see. Basically when I think that it's long enough and I can start the second one. Yeah, I wish to have at least one done soon and start the second one because I have a bunch of Christmas knitting gifts to do. This is one, and vanilla socks, nothing. These are 2.5mm, by the way. 2.5mm on 60 stitch is okay for my boyfriend. It makes a slightly bigger leg because the first socks that I made him, I did the leg on 2.25 and then the foot on 2.5, and these fitted really well. They were snug on the leg, they didn't sag or anything, but I wanted these ones to be a little bit more comfy, so I did everything in 2.5mm, and hopefully you will like wearing them as proper winter socks. By the way, my hair is not constantly greasy, it's just that it's wet because I just got out of the shower and I was too impatient to film to wait for it to dry. My next work in progress is the Ola Yoke by Ella Gordon, and I am knitting this for the Brooklyn Knitfolk, Jacqueline from the Brooklyn Knitfolk podcast, Hipster Cow, which was about making creating something with a project. Oh god. Which was about knitting something out of a pattern that has less than 30 projects registered on Ravelry, to kind of get out of the comfort zone and explore hidden gems. And I have this pattern on my queue since I joined Ravelry, which is not so far ago, but still. And yeah, I'm finally making it. And I am very pleased to announce that I am about to start the color work. I have no idea how I'm going to show you this. Okay. I have finished the sleeves. If you remember, I was knitting the sleeves 2 at a time. I finished them. I joined them. I did the little bit of decreases that you're supposed to do. And now I am precisely next row. I'm starting the color work chart, which is going to be the yoke of the sweater. And it's really not convenient to show you this, but yeah, this is what it looks like. The yarn I'm using is Woll as well. This is Söckli, their sock yarn. It's a fingering weight wool nylon blend, and this is a navy color. And yeah, it's my first time knitting a sweater bottom up. Yeah, joining the sleeves. This was a bit tricky at first to knit, like the cable would make a sharp angle at the sleeves, so it was a bit tricky to go past it. But now that it's making like a uniform round again, it's okay. So this is the front. I'm starting the yoke at the back so that the color jog is here, a little bit hidden. I hope. That's what I understood you're supposed to be doing. And yeah, the sleeves. I always have that thing when I'm knitting sweaters with the sleeves, whether it's top down or bottom up. You know, you make the decreases or increases, and then you're supposed to knit straight in stockinette until you reach a certain length. My problem is when I finish the increases or decreases, I'm already at the certain length that is supposed to be final. And in that case, I was even past that. You're supposed to knit the sleeves until they reach, it says 17 inches. And like these, I just reached the number of stitches that I was supposed to get with the increases, and I was already at 17 and a half and a quarter, like a third more. So I think they're gonna be a tad too long, but that's okay, because if you remember, the sleeve caps are quite big, so I figured that I could just roll them and that it would be okay. Yeah, I'm really eager to be able to try it on, so I think I'm going to start the yoke quickly and hopefully finish it, if not for next week, the week after, because I have a lot of other sweaters to do, and I'm a bit since this is my first bottom up sweater, I'm a bit stressed about the fit and everything, but we'll see. I'm on gauge. It looks okay. Yeah, nothing much to say about it. Definitely the stockinette was long, but I'm really happy to have it done, and hopefully next week I will have a bit of fun color work to show you. Took some medicine before starting recording, and like against cold and flu-like stages, and it makes me sleepy. So maybe that wasn't the best idea, but yeah. Oh, look at that sun. It doesn't seem to be bothering the lighting of the video too much. I hope I don't suddenly look weird. Anyway, my next work in progress is an absolutely lovely one. It's the Peony Top. Let me grab it. The Peony Top by Verena Kors, which is a linen summer top. So the last week it's been really cold and gloomy, and it was raining. So we went from 35 plus degrees to 15 and rain in a week. And I'm knitting a linen summery top. Oh well. This is a tank top with a lace border at the hem. And I finished said lace. Here, let me try to show you the right side. Yes, here it is. Oh, that looks so pretty. This was a really nice and intuitive pattern once you get it going. It was easy to read, and I just love the effect. It's really, really pretty, and I think it's gonna look great. It was a bit fiddly at first because you're holding linen double and you're making twisted stitches starting from the cast on. So that was a bit tricky, but it's okay. Yeah, this is the back, and then I'm gonna have to repeat that for the front. It's less stitches though for the front, but yeah, I really like it. I'm knitting it out of the yarn that the pattern calls for. This is Lino Muka, which is the linen yarn from Woll in Berlin, and I'm knitting it in the grass green colorway, which is a really beautiful green. I think that must be my favorite green at the moment. So yeah, like I said, I finished the lace and I'm on to stockinette. There's a little bit of waist shaping and things, so it's gonna keep me interested, and yeah, I need to get going on that. And I really like knitting with linen. Who'd have thought? I was afraid it would be too harsh on my hands, but it's not. It's just a really rough but fresh feel. Yeah, it's really, really pleasant, and I love how it looks, and I'm sure it will be really pleasant to wear in the end. For this one, I tried a new cast-on method because making the long tail or the German cast-on with the linen, I don't know. It was a little bit because you cast on a lot of stitches, and I was a bit annoyed at it, and I didn't want to work it that way. So what I did, I tried a Portuguese cast-on, and it's awesome to work. It goes much faster for me, and it's less harsh on the hands because when you're casting on, and I'm using, I think it's called the swing method. Well, everybody does that. If you're using a harsh yarn and if you're casting on, I think like it's 100 and something stitches. It's a lot, and yeah, it's a bit tiring. But the Portuguese cast on is really easy to work, and it surprised me. It's really fun to do and quick. It makes quite a smooth and bouncy edge, as bouncy as linen can be, but you know what I mean. But the thing is, it's a purling cast on, so that means that when you're done, when you turn the work, you have the right side facing you, which is really good usually, because that avoids that extra row that you have to work to get back on the right side when you use a normal long tail cast on. However, in that case, the setup row for the top in the pattern was on the wrong side, so I just slide back to work the wrong side again. But I'm glad I tried that out, and yeah, You can tell that I am sick. I can see that I am a little bit, you know, rambly and not very eloquent and just generally boring. So I'm very sorry, and I hope the pretty yarn that I'm showing you compensates. I've cast on something new, and I'm just gonna go quickly about it because there's nothing really exciting about it. It's a hat. It's a 2x2 beanie, and I don't remember the name of the designer. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. I'll put it here, and it's a ribbed hat that looks really nice, and I'm doing it out of Opal yarn in black because I'm knitting for someone that isn't really into anything else than black. But yeah, so it's just a simple, you can't see anything. It's just a simple 2x2 rib, and it has an interesting crown shaping that makes it quite flat. So you have a funny little peak at the top, kind of like most commercial hats. When you buy them, they actually have a flat crown because they're flat and sewn rather than all round when you buy a commercial hat. So yeah, I'm knitting it on 3mm 40cm circular needles. I really hope the size is gonna be okay. I picked this because I figured a ribbed hat, this just fits anyone. The pattern says that the finish measurements is 51cm circumference, unstretched though, and she recommended using 2mm needles, so I'm way above that, so I should get something that is big enough and comfortable. I hope so. If not, it'll just be like a decorative thing. A black hat. But yeah, I did all of that last night, and it's just gonna be 20cm of rib to go. So this is it for the knitting content. Yeah, as you can see, little baby steps. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed my progress. I didn't do any weaving this week. Shocker, right? But I spent my entire Friday dyeing yarn, and dyeing specifically self-striping yarn. If you remember a while ago, I showed you that I prepared 12 meters skein to be trying that out, and I finally did. And it took me the entire day, and I'm very happy with the results. But let me talk to you a little bit about the process. I really love picking the colors. It's a different approach to normal variegated and speckled dyeing, and it's really fun to picture a striped sequins and choosing the right shades and the order of the shades, and looking at the finished thing is so satisfying. But oh my god, is it a long and tedious process. There's a lot of prepping and handling. You have to, I'm gonna run you through how I did it. There are a few different methods that I found on the internet, and yeah, the thing is with my, I'm dyeing in the kitchen and I have 2 small pots dedicated to it, so I couldn't dye in pots like I've seen some people do. So I hand painted the yarn. So the thing is, you need to make a very long skein, so that already takes a while. It takes me like 1 hour to make 2 or 3 skeins like that. I made them 12 meters, And yeah, it gets tangled. No matter how you look at it, it's handling them. Even though the second round of dyeing was much better, and I didn't mess up as bad, it still took a few deep breathing and untangling and almost giving up, because I thought that I had lost the perfect middle of the skein and that everything was ruined. So yeah, you make that big skein, you soak it as you do, and then the thing is you have to divide it into whatever number of stripes you want, so into 4, 3, etc. I didn't mark my skeins because you could, I guess, tie the skein in different parts to make the different stripes sequence easier to spot, but I didn't do that. So I was there with my 12-meter long skein trying to divide it equally. Needless to say, that didn't work. But looking at the balls, they look okay. So I don't think I'm gonna have that much of a difference. Eyeing the different sizes that I would need seem to have kind of worked. But definitely not going to be perfect, but hey. So I'm gonna put here a picture of my setup. I was in the garage because I didn't want to do it in the kitchen because of the whole big space needed and thing. I knew that I would have done some color damage to our furniture and walls. So I went into the garage and lay down on the floor and hand painted all the different sections in the colors that I wanted. Yeah, that was long. And then once I hand painted every section, I wrapped them in plastic wrap paper, to heat them up in the microwave, because yeah, that's the easiest heating way for me right now. And once they were set and cooled down, I rinsed them. And again, you have to rinse a 12-meter thing and set it to dry somehow. I thought about making it into a chain, like making a crochet chain with this long skein. But then undoing it would have been quite tedious as well. So I just let them dry, and then you have to, and then. I'm telling you, this was a tedious process. Then you have to make it again into a manageable size thing. So there I was, arranging all the chairs of the living room and putting the skein all around them. And then with my Swift, making it into like a normal 180 centimeter skein. So I was walking around unraveling the really, really long skein and then putting it back into the Swift. It was ridiculous. Nobody could walk in the living room. You had to it looked like I was setting up some sort of, in a spy, like Secret Service James Bond movie, like the laser thing that you have to kind of go over, under, and escape. That was it, but with yarn. So yeah, that was kind of funny. But I managed to do it, and then once I had my lovely normal skein, I won them in gobstopper balls. Because let's be honest, I think that half of the reason why I am so attracted to self-striping yarn is because of the gobstopper ball. Because that is so fun and so cute, and actually a really fun thing to do compared to all the previous handling and prepping of the yarn. Sitting down and winding a ball even though it takes some time, like it took me 3 hours, I say, to make 4, it was relaxing in comparison. So yeah, after that, I already knew that self-striping yarn was a lot of work, and now I just admire even more the people that do it, that have a business of it, because oh my god, this so tedious. Tedious is the word. It's fiddly. It takes a lot longer than a normal dyeing process, so to say. But yeah, let me now show you my creations after talking for 10 minutes about how annoying it was to make them. These are completely, for me, they're selfish, completely selfish dyeing, but more about that in a minute. But yeah, this is one of the bowls that I made. I really like this one. This is like a steel grey, a lilac, and a really bright corally pink. Second one looks very Christmassy, Harry Potter-y thing, and it was not intentional. But yeah, it's green, red, yellow and brown. It's quite autumnal as well. These two are 100-gram bowls, because I made the skins a long time ago, and I just made them 100-gram. But I really don't need 100-gram to make socks for me. I barely use 60. So yeah, I'll have some leftovers and I'll be able to make a couple of pair of socks actually with those. So the next ones, these two, are only 75 grams. So they look smaller. But yeah, this one I really like too. It wasn't exactly how I pictured it, but I really like how the mint plays with the orange, and you have a soft brown and a blue as well. Yeah. The last one is a little bit more muted, and IKEA, I know, it's not my fault if blue and yellow goes well together, and it really, yeah. So it's not completely yellow though, it's like a ochre, mustardy, olive thing. But yeah, ochre, blue and a really soft grey. Yeah. So like I said, these ones are for me. However, I have some ideas for special self-striping colorways that will be for the shop as well. And yeah, I'm going to have an autumn update soon. I think I'll show it to you, if not next week, maybe the week after. I'm aiming for end of September to have some autumn Halloween colorways in the shop, and there will be a special one for kind of Halloween, and it will be a self-striping, and I will do the same for Christmas. I will have some new colorways for Christmas, and then with a self-striping as well. And the last thing I have to show you is my cross stitch, and you'll see that I have done quite a bit of progress again. Yeah, making the head of the second fox definitely makes it look like I'm closer to finishing it. I'm still focusing on doing the black. I have to finish the body, the second leg and the tail, and then it's gonna be colors. Yeah, that looks so pretty. I really like him. It feels satisfying to see that it's coming to completion. And yeah, I don't know what to say about it. Cross stitch is so easy. what I've been trying to do is, I think the thing that you can get better at is a better management of your thread. And for example, when you're doing like a bunch of isolated stitches like this, basically something that is not a line, I've been trying to play around and trying to find the best order in which to do them, so that you have to be careful not to go too far away with your thread at the back. And yeah, there's just thread management basically, and figuring out the most efficient way of creating those isolated stitches. I guess that's the one thing where there's room for improvement, and the rest is just really easy, fun thing to do. This week I do not have my what's hanging there segment. I usually have some skeins of yarn hanging there to kind of look pretty, and then I talk about them at the end of the episode. But this week I decided to talk about something else, and that is this. So this is Socktacular. It's a little pamphlet thingy by Knit Picks, and it's sock patterns. And I've seen someone make this sock on Instagram, and it was a Russian person, so I asked, hoping that she would understand English, if she could tell me what the pattern was, and she said that it's from this. So you can order it. I ordered it from Amazon, and it's just these really pretty minimalistic subtle sock designs, and I'm getting into that right now with autumn. I really want to be doing more cozy textural things, and I just love every pattern in them. I want to make this one. I don't know if you can see, yeah, with the purling triangles. They're really pretty, and yeah, all of them are really fun. Here's a look at the page with all of them. And there's a little glare, but yeah, you can kind of tell what they look like. And it's basically, I've just skipped through it quickly. It's basically like a recipe. Ran out of space again. Yeah, really pretty. I have to complain though, since I'm talking about Knit Picks, that they don't deliver to the world. Deliver to UK, but not to Europe, because I wonder if it's an English speaking kind of thing. I don't see why. But yeah, I really wish they would deliver to Europe, at least from the UK website. I don't understand why they can have a UK based thing deliver there and not deliver to the rest of Europe. I mean, I'm looking at all the Felice yarn and the easy affordable tonals, and yeah, and there. Anyway, this is it for the creative content. I wanted to introduce a new thing to the podcast, and I don't know if me doing it sick is the best idea, but anyway, let's do it. I am a big reader. I've always read a lot. I studied literature and things, so yeah, books are an important thing for me. However, lately I found that I am not taking enough time to read. So I figured that if I set up myself a goal of sharing maybe not in every episode, but maybe once every 2 episodes, sharing what I'm reading and my thoughts on it, and maybe recommend a book or something. That would kind of encourage me to get back into a regular reading schedule. So I figured I would do that. I'm not gonna get into a ton of details and things. I'm just going to tell you what I'm reading, what I think of it so far, and yeah, whether or not I recommend it. I have a Goodreads account. If you don't know what Goodreads is, it's an app that allows you to put back everything that you read, and put a note to the books that you read and classify them. I'll put my tag here. Yeah. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about this week is the book that I just started reading. And you will be able to find this in English because the author is Indian. I am reading it in French because this marvelous cover. This is an editor that I absolutely adore. They are very recognizable because all of their covers are made by this one graphic designer, and they're really striking patterns and colors and things that are very visual. It's called Zulma, so it's a French editor, and they make a specialty of translating foreign authors, basically, things that you don't have access to easily in the kind of more mainstreams editors here. And their translation work is always great, so they always pick a really, really good translator, I feel, and so that's why I'm reading it in French. So this book is, the English title is Incantations and Other Stories. Let me check. Incantations and Other Stories. And it is by, I am not going to try to pronounce that. So, this lady writes apparently mostly short stories, and this is what this is. This is a collection of short stories. Apparently they're focused on female characters, and they're kind of picturing Indian society and how these characters get in there without and it explores that, but it does it without being overly dramatic or aggressive, and you know, it's not those kind of writing that is accusing. It's more about presenting a mood. So yeah, that's the impression that I get from the back cover and the first short story. It's more about setting a picture, a mood, and yeah, letting it do its thing. The first short story, the one that I read a couple of nights ago, is called Bahu, and I suppose that's how you're supposed to say Bahu. It's about this woman who she's working and she also likes to play music and things, and she just got married. Well, she not just got married, but she's married, and it's about how her step family, and especially her mother-in-law, softly tries to force her to stop working and to stop doing music, because, you know, it's not overly vindicative. It's not like trying to shove down your throat, you know, oh look, female condition, boo. You know, it's not like that. It's actually the main character isn't that likable. You don't know much about her, and sure, her situation is awful, but at the same time, she takes a decision and she acts in a way that doesn't necessarily make her look as a hero. And I don't know, I felt kind of taken aback by her as well. I felt like she didn't take a position that would make the short story really pro-feminist or something like that. It's a little bit more subtle than that, and I really appreciate it. So I'm curious to see how it goes on. I usually like those kind of things where the author just puts a picture, places things, you know, that could be interpreted in a certain way and that could aim at really political. And I really like when there is this kind of, you know, there is a subtext, because no matter what you do or whatever subject you write about, there's always going to be a take on it that is sort of political and that could get really in your face, morals, ethics, you know, fighting for something. But this doesn't do that. Yeah, I really like this kind of story that puts you into a situation where you could think, oh, it's going to be about that, it's gonna attack moral subjects and it's going to punch me in the brain, you know, and it doesn't do that. It gets you another way. It doesn't shove in your face ideas and dramatic situations. It affects you in more like ongoing things. It's a general mood rather than a speech with political ideas in it. And yeah, I kind of enjoy that. I should be able to read that rather fast. I really like short stories. I find that it's a bit of a shame that it isn't as popular as it used to be, because you can do so much with so little. And some of my favorite books are actually collections of short stories or short stories that are hidden into a novel. I'll be talking more about it when I have more of it read. And yeah, I'll keep updating you on my impressions. Because, you know, you can't help putting some yarny things even in the book segment. This is a bookmark that I knitted ages ago. And I can't even remember how I did it. It's, I think it's a YouTube video that I saw. It's a pattern that was for a mug cozy, and I used it as a bookmark. It's a slip stitch thing with 3 colors. That's how it looks. This looks pretty complex for the time where I did it, but yeah, this is my bookmark. Yeah, I hope I'll be able to edit that in a way that makes sense. Because I have started over the segments and thing, because I didn't make sense or was too rambly, couldn't find my words, things like that. So I hope it wasn't too painful to watch. At least maybe see it as a scientific experiment on what being sick does to a brain. I'm gonna stop right there, and I hope I will see you next week in a clearer state of mind. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you a happy week, a happy day and night, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye!